Hey everyone, I'm Kay Somerville and you're watching Long Story Shorts, where we catch you up on our region's biggest stories, little by little. First up, we have to talk about the Tanner Horner trial, and we're continuing to stream gavel-to-gavel coverage right here on WFAA+. It was a whirlwind the first few days in court, starting with a guilty plea from Tanner Horner. Let's get caught up.
Started with Tanner Horner shocking us all by pleading guilty to capital murder for the killing of Athena Strand. And the prosecutors are seeking the death penalty. If death had not been on the table, he would have been automatically sentenced to life in prison without parole. And now we are expecting this trial to go on maybe 3 weeks, because prosecutors are saying they plan to present pretty much their entire case, maybe leaving out a witness here or there that they would have needed as part of the guilt-innocence phase, but otherwise pretty much presenting their entire case, and then defense attorneys doing everything they can to try to
save his life.
And so we've seen, I think, some pretty impactful testimony this morning. Her first grade teacher, her stepmom, the sheriff, who was clearly very emotional, and of course the FBI agent. But again, the image of Athena Strand in that FedEx truck, appearing clearly unhurt with Tanner Horner,
Yep.
for me is the image of the day.
Me too. Yep. Exactly. But this is the way that trials go. You just don't know what's going to happen from minute to minute. And so the plea this morning, it's not surprising, but one of the things they certainly didn't have an agreement with the state to plead guilty for life in prison without parole. That wasn't on the table.
So we find her. You get told on that Friday that she's deceased.
Yes.
What's your reaction when you find out that Athena's no longer with us?
I lost it. I just don't know how you're going to react to something like that.
Since that time,
Mm-hmm.
how has this affected you since that time?
I mean, a lot. It's affected me. It's affected my marriage. It affected my children.
Affected your children.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Alice.
Okay.
How did Athena going missing affect Alice?
I mean, she lost her sister in the most horrific way. Even if a delivery driver just drives down the driveway, and she's outside, she runs and hides. It's affected her school. It's affected her friends. It's affected just her in general. She has nightmares.
About her sister?
Yes.
When we talk about you, you said that you've had some struggles as a teacher.
Yes.
Have you had any struggles as a person?
Yes.
Tell us about it.
I have been through hours of therapy, trying to heal from this. I have lost 2 other students back to back with this tragedy, but this has hit me the hardest. It has forever changed my life, forever changed how I teach my kids. One of the biggest moments of struggle for me was one day I had a little girl. She came out into the hall. This was about 3 months after everything, and she was crying. And she sat down and she said, "Miss Thompson, I really miss Athena, but I'm afraid that this is going to happen to me too."
It's something it's really hard to do, but my focus was that family. I wanted them to know before any of the media. I wanted them to know, and so that gave me the opportunity to go back and have that second meeting with the family And it was heartbreaking. And they were just devastated. I don't know, there were probably 8 or 10 members of the family in there, and it was a Sunday school classroom. And I wish I could have done something to make it better, you know, because we were hoping, right to the last minute, we were hoping that she was alive and well. But what the information I brought back was not what they wanted to hear.
There was a lot going on through my head at the time. I didn't.
Is there any voices telling you anything at that time after you, just to get her out of the truck or anything like that, or was that just kind of a decision you made?
I just tossed her in. Like, I couldn't just keep running around with a kid in the back like that. I just tossed her in the bush or whatever you want to call that.
And you sure she was not alive at that time?
I was relatively sure.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't check her.
And when he's giving you the directions, what level of detail is he able to provide you to guide you from your location where you are to the abandonment?
Descriptive turn-by-turn instructions on how to get there.
So is he able to tell you what roads to take?
Yes, sir.
Is he able to tell you what turns to make?
Yes, sir.
And he's able to tell you where he placed her body?
Yes, sir.
Our Tanya Iser and her team of legal analysts will continue to bring you the latest details and developments of this trial all week long, right here on WFAA Plus, and from the looks and sounds of it, in the weeks ahead as well. Of course, that wasn't the only big story in DFW this week. Here's what's been grabbing our attention locally, starting with a bomb scare that happened in downtown Dallas and fortunately ended without incident.
Stand by here, Kevin. It looks like they just, police department, as you saw it right there, they set off some device to open the back tailgate hatch. That's what we just saw the bomb squad officer put a device on the back of this black Tahoe to open the vehicle. Obviously, they want to be as precautious as possible and perhaps not, hit the unlock button or not try to use a key that might, startle something.
This weekend, we got word of a tornado in East Texas. Now we know just how strong it was. It hit Saturday morning. You probably remember here in DFW, we had soaking rain that morning. Well, in Smith County, east of Lindale, which is about 90 miles from Dallas, a small tornado developed. It took a couple of days for the National Weather Service to go to the site where it hit, but once they did a survey, they confirmed it was an EF1 tornado with winds of 97 miles an hour. The National Weather Service now says it was on the ground 2.6 miles and that it was 32 yards wide. We know a few homes were damaged. Downed power lines also caused a big crash on a highway. A couple of people were hurt. We do not know how bad their injuries were.
You are looking at the Texas Woofus, and take a look at this. For the first time in a long time, the fountain is running. City officials will say that's a pretty big deal because it's an example of the work that's being done to improve Fair Park. They pointed to fountains like this one running again. There's new HVAC systems at some of the buildings. There's new landscaping, irrigation. So the grass is even greener than you might remember. This was all covered in a city council meeting with Dallas Park and Recreation Director John Jenkins. I caught up with him today, and he acknowledged what a long and winding road this has been for Fair Park. They have a plan in place. They've got 45 acres of underutilized parking lot that they plan to put in some retail, potentially some hotels, some real revenue generating projects. And after all of these years, I asked him what makes this time different. He pointed to things like the Texas Woofus. He said it's an example of the improvements that people will be able to see at Fair Park with their own eyes.
We're less than 5 weeks out from one of the biggest openings in years. Officials announced that Halperin Park will open Saturday, May 9th at 9 a.m. The 5-acre bridge park was built on top of I-35 and Ewing Avenue, right near the entrance to the Dallas Zoo. It's the second deck park in Dallas, joining Clyde Warren, which has won national awards and is considered the city's town square. What it did for the Central Core, many people think Halperin will do for Oak Cliff. It has a band shell for concerts, a children's playground, interactive water features, and a multi-purpose building for indoor events. The park could attract up to 2 million visitors a year. Opening day will feature food trucks, health and yoga classes, and live performances by local musicians and dancers. You'll be able to make a card or build a bouquet to coincide with Mother's Day. Amazon is sponsoring the opening ceremony and will be giving away children's books, electronics, and gift cards.
The old convention center comes down. New challenges are emerging.
City leaders are back at the drawing board now, figuring out how to connect surrounding neighborhoods to key streets and bridges.
Transportation reporter Janelle Ford is live downtown to walk us through the proposals, raising some red flags for those in the community.
Well, Matt and Dia, council members say they looked at 4 to 5 proposals and they were not sold on any of them. One of them would make it so that the new convention center would take over the space where the Jefferson Bridge here now connects towards downtown by the Omni. Another would make the Houston Street Bridge, which is where we are right now, which is the southbound connector, pedestrian only. And another one of those plans would leave Jefferson ending down below on the wrong side of the railroad tracks instead of feeding straight into downtown. So now the committee is telling the city, go back and try again. The reason all of this is happening comes down to cost. City staff says the price of redeveloping the K. Bailey Hutchinson Convention Center has climbed past $3 billion, and to bring that down, they want to lower the building. But that also means that the Jefferson Bridge could no longer connect directly into downtown. Staff says those changes could save up to $500 million, though some council members say they are not convinced. And in North Oak Cliff, where those bridges connect, neighbors say they are worried these proposals could leave their community cut off from downtown.
It really isn't about the money. It's about fairness. And this has just been really unfair.
Yeah, so now staff is going to have to go back and draft some more proposals, and they are set to share those revisions with the council later this month. I'll send it back to you.
Psychiatrists say a mother accused of killing her 6-year-old special needs son is incompetent to stand trial. Cindy Rodriguez-Singh fled to India before she was arrested in 2023. She was returned to the U.S. last summer and indicted on a capital murder charge. Our content partners at the Fort Worth Star-Telegram uncovered a psychiatric evaluation report. There will be a hearing next Tuesday. The body of her son, Noel Rodriguez, has never been found.
Little League families in one North Texas community say they want their money back, and they say the city of Ennis had to step in to save their rec baseball season. Here's what they say is going on. Multiple families told me that they signed up with the Ennis Baseball Association to play spring ball, something that some of them have done for years now. But then the season never happened, they say. A City of Ennis spokesperson told me that they make Rec Sports League sign a contract to use city-owned facilities like the baseball diamonds, where the EBA has practices, games, and tournaments. They say that contract with the EBA expired in December. They say the Baseball Association did not sign a new deal by the time the season was supposed to start in March. We should say we reached out to the head of the Baseball Association. He also runs the Softball Association, which much of this applies to as well. He said that he's not going to comment on advice of his attorney. So the association, these families say, collected the money for the spring league, but the association, the city says, didn't sign a deal for use of the facilities. So these families worried they wouldn't get a spring baseball season at all. The city of Ennis says it stepped up and offered to run the league this spring at no cost for the families. A spokesperson said this was part of its commitment to rec sports, and it wanted to make sure that kids had the opportunity to play ball. These families say they're grateful for that, but they still want to get their money back, more than $100 per player from the Baseball Association.
Tell me about the number of power outages you've had.
Yeah, we've had 17 power outages within like the last year. Between all of them, we're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. I mean, we have to throw away all of those products that have been in the temperature danger zone. So we're talking a sad amount of money. That's what we're talking. We've had one last up to 17 hours. We've had some last, yesterday was 6.5. We've had some as small as 2.5. I would love for like a 10-minute one, but that doesn't seem to ever be the case. They're always long. You know, I know all the hours of sacrifice that I have, missing birthday parties and special events and everything to make my ends meet and to make all these things special for everybody else. So when something like that happens, it just, it crushes you a little bit every time, to be honest. We shouldn't be tolerating it anymore.
Whew. Okay, how about we lighten up the mood a bit? Fortunately, our Daybreak team has your back.
All right, let's get into In the Feed. This is where we pick one story that we're actually clicking on, give you a quick take, and then we move right along. This morning, we've got a baked potato loaded with a barbecue plate. Scary encounter resurfacing after 10 years. And what's on the menu for the Artemis 2 crew? Erica, what are you clicking
on that baked potato. It is incredible. It's going to make you hungry this morning. Take a look at what one business owner is calling the best baked potato in Dallas. This was shared at Syed's Blackout Barbecue. He starts with a baked potato, cuts it up, adds butter, add some seasoning. Before going in with a layer of cheese, he's adding barbecue sauce there, a generous heaping of chopped brisket, more sauce, more cheese. Then he pulls out some ribs, pulls them off the bone, and tops the whole platter with them. Too much, Greg?
He's on
the ribs on top. I think that's a little too much.
I will say the customer did ask for it, and then he has a little sour cream, some barbecue sauce, some green onion, shebang. One of the top commenters said, I forgot that this started as a potato. Would you guys try this?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I want to find it. Let's go.
Resounding yes. Let's leave right now. We got a show to do. Or we can just go over there. See if they're open at 6:15. All right, I'm clicking on a video that's resurfacing from 2016 for no apparent reason other than it's pretty wild. It shows a man in a swamp getting up close with a gator. Yeah, pretty scary right there. The poster says this was in Louisiana back in 2016 when a tour guide offered a special tour, then jumped right in, gives us some food, pats it on the snout a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Feeds him, and then sending it on its way after feeding it. This is the funniest part. Yeet! Enjoy your day, gator. Anyway, pretty interesting video. Had to do a double take whenever I watched it.
I'm not fooling with that. But we just filled you in on where the Artemis 2 crew is at in their journey around the moon, heading back to Earth. But you may not have heard what they're filling up on. NASA shared this video running through the selection of meals that the astronauts have to choose from for the midday hour. It includes chicken noodle soup, chicken with peanut sauce, roasted turkey, rice, tomatoes, artichokes. Mac and cheese is a favorite. They put that on in parentheses. And then spaghetti and meatballs, vegetable casserole, and for a little something sweet, a cosmic brownie, of course. Look how fun that is. It's all freeze-dried and packaged. Looks terrible. And also, I don't know if you guys saw, but there was a jar of Nutella, zero gravity, just floating across. I think if I had to go to the moon, I'd want a little Nutella.
That's nice that they get Nutella, because all the other stuff I think is not too good.
Where's the Tang? They don't wash it down with Tang.
Oh,
You guys remember that?
I remember that.
All the Apollo astronauts, everybody, all the kids were drinking Tang, back in the day. So
And shout out to whoever's running NASA's social media, because it has been top notch, top tier. Yeah, just fun, relatable content. Astronauts are just like us.
Yeah, I think the PB&J would be okay up there, right? I mean, that would be my choice if I was going to eat, on a moon mission.
I wonder if bread would last.
Yeah,
let's email
we have questions.
Yeah, let's give them a call.
Does bread mold in space? We don't know. We've got questions. All right, let's get you on.
More of the tens of thousands of photos the Artemis astronauts took during the moon flyby. They are exquisite, exceptional, wonderful. If you haven't looked at them, Google it, take a look on your internet machine, and just see if they're out there, because obviously they are, and they are wonderful. That is a picture called Earthset. Very similar to what a sunset looks like. They also released a shot of the far side of the moon and the solar eclipse. After a day of rest, the crew will test their ability to build a radiation shelter and steer the Orion capsule as part of preps to splash down off the coast of California are set for Friday evening. And that is a look at your morning snapshot.
Finally, The Devil Wears Prada is back. 20th Century Studios released the latest trailer for the highly anticipated sequel.
help us through our current scandal.
Click, 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 everywhere.
But I did not hire you, and all I need to do is bide my time until you fail. Won't you take the train, dear?
Might show up late, might be on time. Just wait, I'm coming.
Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, Emily Blunt, Stanley Tucci, they're all back in their original roles from the 2006 film. The sequel hits theaters May 1st, and the new trailer also features a brand new song. It's with Lady Gaga and Doechii. It's a bop, y'all. It's called Runway. I feel like it's going to be a popular summer hit.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
A lot of people are excited about this sequel.
Oh, yeah. They put a lot of money. Oh, you're not?
I love the original. It's been 20 years.
Oh, no.
Meryl has said in interviews they put a lot of money into this. I actually think it's going to be good. I think some sequels I'm not stoked about. This one I am.
Yeah,
My daughter's been talking about it, so she's excited. So we'll see.
I mean, Meryl is mother.
It was kind of a touchstone movie for a lot of folks in 2006.
Absolutely.
Everybody enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
It's ageless.
It really is.
Ageless,
Anne Hathaway is ageless like Green.
Anne Hathaway is ageless.
No, I'm aging. Trust me.
Thanks everyone for tuning in to Long Story Shorts. Once again, I'm Kay Somerville, and we'll catch you next time on the next swipe.